This week on Supercars Torque, the worst kept wildcard secret has finally been revealed. Now, before we get into, the Bathurst co-driving stuff, which is really the big news this week, I'd like to start off a bit of an apology. Seemed to have hit a bit of a nerve last week, the joking about Scott McLaughlin being from the 7th state. It all kind of kicked off, I suppose, when he was going across to IndyCar and in some proper news agencies, not dedicated motorsport media, but, like tabloid newspapers, had called him Australian. Easy mistake to make. There is also the whole, Scott Dixon, because he was born in Brisbane but grew up in New Zealand kind of thing, where he's from. But it is a bit of a running joke around here that Scott McLaughlin is from the 7th Australian state, and we jokingly call him an Australian. It is a bit of a joke. Please don't take it too seriously. Also, Max Payne. I don't know where I got that from, but it's now a bit of a running joke. I do know that it is Matt Payne, but now in my head, because I've called him Max Payne so many times, I kind of revert back to that and don't even realise I'm doing it sometimes. So there is some stuff on these videos that is a bit tongue-in-cheek. Usually I might make a bit of a face or something like that when I say it. So just don't take everything so seriously on those. Just wanted to clear that up a little bit. And also when I jokingly say the big news this week and then go on to something that, isn't really any news, like the big news this week, the indigenous livery for the Blanchards has been released. Yep, their car looks pretty good as it is. Put some squiggly lines on it. Of course, it's still going to look good. There's going to be more and more of these over the coming weeks because we're a couple of weeks away from Darwin and everybody has to run an indigenous livery or inspired, and it has to get passed off by supercars as well. So you can't just, put a flag on there or, well, maybe they'll accept that, but you might not just be able to put like an Aboriginal flag and that class as an indigenous livery. They do have to tick it off. Yeah. I don't think we need to, enough teams were kind of doing it just for the Darwin round anyway. I still don't agree that this is something that we have to do. Anyway, I've said my piece about that previously. The other little bit of news to cover off this week, S5000, their championship is going to conclude at the Darwin round. I think they're still going to go to Surfers Paradise later on in the year as a special event, and they'll probably end up at Adelaide as well. But their actual championship will be concluding in Darwin. They've only had like 8 cars at the last couple of rounds. When this was first announced, it was a bit questionable. To me, what is the point of this series really? It's too expensive, I suppose, and too difficult for a gentleman racer, like the people who can genuinely afford these cars. They'd be better off. Look at myself even. Like, I'd struggle to fit into one of those cars. GT3, much more suited, for that kind of gentleman racer and kind of the gentleman racer shape. And then if the young guys, if they genuinely want to go and race, overseas in open wheeler categories, like, say go and do F3, F2 over in Europe or whatever, or, go onto the Indy ladder, something like that. I won the S5000 championship. What the hell's that? Like, at least when you had Formula Ford or F4, there was comparable championships overseas. This is a bit like, it's a special Australian open wheeler category that doesn't really carry over. So what's the point? You're not catering to gentlemen racers. You're not catering to the young blokes, really. Why are we doing it? And then to have so few cars turn up and then calling the championship so early, I don't mind it, whatever, but I just, it doesn't really make sense as a category. Like most other categories kind of make sense. Like I can see with the Super Utes what they're trying to do with it. But this, to me, why? Explain it to me, please. Now, for the real news this week, Triple Eight have confirmed that Lowndes and Declan Fraser, or Lounsey and Decker, will be pairing up in the Triple Eight Wildcard for Bathurst. Probably the really big news in all this is that's kind of, fallen under the radar. Whincup will be back with Broc Feeney. When you think really across those three cars, geez, that is a very strong lineup of three cars. Like last year, really, that wild card was a bit. Ingle was really iffy in that thing. This year, though, you've got Lowndes and a young gun in the car. Who's going to qualify that car as well? Like, who's going to be the lead driver? I know Lowndes' name was on the windscreen, but of course that is a big publicity thing, having Lowndes in the car. When it actually comes to the crunch over the weekend, though, will we actually see Declan go and qualify it, or will Lowndes still be at that level where he can go out and qualify the car with the main guys? But when you think, okay, so Van Gisbergen and Tander is happening again, that was pretty much confirmed. But then you got Whincup and Broc Feeney together. That realistically, you look and any one of the drivers across any of the three cars could be the one to go and qualify the car. Of course, you're going to put Shane in the car to qualify as opposed to Tander. But realistically, Tander could still go out and qualify that car extremely well, I'd imagine. So it's just an epic lineup. I did see a lot of complaints about people using, bringing up the whole Repco thing and blah, blah, blah. Supercars fired Repco or something as one. Fired Supercheap. Repco came in with more money. You're going to take more money. Who cares whether... Anyway, enough of that. It's just great news that there will be 28 cars on the grid at Bathurst. We're getting excited about 28. We should have a lot more, but at least it's trending in the right direction. Would be nice if there was a couple more even on the grid, but this is where we're at. So also during the week, Premier tested Tyler Everingham and Cameron Hill for their Enduro co-drivers. So that's probably going to be their lineup for Bathurst. Confirming it without confirming it, maybe. So all we need now is Seaton and Ojeda to be confirmed at Matt Stone Racing, and then who's driving in the Smith car. Which, do we really care? So that's it for this week. Down in the comments, let me know what you think of the S5000, whether, are we really going to miss it? Because, it's on its deathbed, I would have thought. So let me know what you think. I'm not going to miss it really. So it's a bit of a shame. We do need some kind of open wheeler category, but I think they should have stuck around with like F4 or not canned Formula Ford in the first place. So Motorsport Australia has a lot to answer for on that one, I think. So until next time, I'm still Dave, and I'll catch you later.